I want to thank others responsible for today and for such great work here in the Tahoe region. The Tahoe City Public Utility District Board of Directors. All those on the board, could you raise your hands? Thank you for your wonderful work. The Tahoe Regional Planning Agency, can you raise your hands? Thank you so much. And of course, Julie Reagan is here, Executive Director. Julie, thank you. Amy Berry, CEO of the Tahoe Fund. Amy, where are you? Amy, thank you. Caitlin Meyer, a member of Senator Feinstein's staff, but also a member of the Tahoe Fund. Caitlin, thank you for being here. And of course, Cindy Gustafson, Placer County Supervisor. Cindy, thank you. I want to thank the Lake Tahoe Basin Management Unit, as well as the California Tahoe Conservancy, the California State Parks, the Tahoe Rim Trail Association, and everyone associated with this project. I'll be introducing Judy Friedman in a moment, but I also, as a point of personal privilege, want to recognize just a few of the Feinstein staff who are here, who are also on my staff and have brought just tremendous knowledge and expertise. David Granis. David, thank you for your amazing work. Bill Kratz. Bill, where are you? My regional director in the south. And Edwin Sevilla. Edwin, my regional director in the north. We like to consider ourselves part of the Feinstein family and friends. And I just want to say at the outset, what incredible respect I have for Dianne Feinstein and the legacy she has left behind. I got to know her when I was first running for office. She was then and was throughout her career really the giant of California politics. But I got to know her best years later when I was the chair or the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, and she occupied a similar position in the Senate. And it was there that I got to really spend quality time with her trying to address the myriad of national security threats facing the country. And in Senator Feinstein, I got to see the incredible intellect, the vast policy expertise, her incredible work ethic. I remember years earlier going to see her about an appropriations project in my House district, only to learn she knew more about it than I did. You did not go into a meeting with her unprepared. And just the amount that she was able to take on and achieve, the myriad of things that we enjoy in California without ever knowing that it was possible because of her. But the whole nation has Senator Feinstein to be grateful for a decade of protection against the assault weapons, the threat posed by assault weapons in civilian communities to be used against law enforcement officers or people at a movie theater or at a park or at a concert. Her courage in taking on the NRA.
And thanks to everybody who's gathered here, especially Senator Schiff and your team. You know, we could have pulled this off without him, but it wouldn't have been like this, right? So thank you so much for being here and helping us celebrate the legacy of an incredible woman. I was blessed to know the senator in a couple different capacities. I'm, as you heard, a county supervisor now. I was a general manager of a utility district that did water, sewer, and parks and rec. And I was the founding chair of the Tahoe Fund. And so I want to share a little bit from each of those. So as her general manager of water, we did have a drought a few years ago, you might remember, where the governor gave us orders to cut back. That would have been Governor Brown. And I had to pay a visit to the senator's home and ask her to cut down on her water use, which of course she knew nothing about, but she quickly turned to her caretaker and said, cut the water use. We have to be below the standard the state is giving us. And thank you very much, Cindy, for coming down and meeting with us. And then we sat down and had coffee. She was such a gracious mentor, leader, giver to so many of us, and she was demanding. So as I look back at starting the Tahoe Fund with a vision that we would bring public, private, and government together, government, private, and environmental groups together on one board, so we would quit arguing about some of the projects that we're trying to get done in the Tahoe Basin that were truly great projects, like bike trails and public access points. And Senator Feinstein agreed to do a cocktail party at the West Shore Cafe and twist arms. How many of you got your arms twisted by Senator Feinstein? I will tell you I did. I know my husband, where are you, Wally, did as well. Many of us got our arms twisted because she saw the value in bringing private philanthropy to the mix to help her secure funding in Washington. And so many of us, including many people on the West Shore, had their fingers in their chests that night with her saying, "You're gonna give, you're gonna give." She went around the group and said, "You're all gonna give to the Tahoe Fund." Well, what has that done today when you talk about legacy? It has, as many of you know, we're in our 15th year now, 220 projects completed, $30 million of private funds from people just like yourselves donated to match $200 million in public dollars. So her vision and her demands on all of us are a legacy now that we are going to live with forever. She was such a gracious person. It isn't just the projects that we get done because of Senator, but who she was and the leadership. She was such an important person in our world, and to spend time with a lowly, sorry Sean, general manager of a utility district, and to believe in mentoring women at luncheons that hadn't run for office yet and then decided maybe I should. She mentored many of us and was demanding to many of us, but so very gracious. Handwritten notes. How many of you got a handwritten note from the senator? And I know that was the staff that were helping. I know that now because I can't possibly write all the thank you notes I should. But she was just incredibly thoughtful and generous of her time, her mentorship of many of us, and she loved flowers. And I told her granddaughter this morning, she shared with me, Senator shared with me a photo of some beautiful sunflowers on her deck at her house and how proud she was of them. And I was at farmer's market early this morning and saw these and I went, oh my gosh, I've got to bring them for her granddaughter. I just want to remind us all, I know we know the definition of legacy, and I get choked up now. It's something of value that is passed down from the past, often to future generations. And that is what Senator Feinstein has done for all of us. We then guide, the next generation. As a grandmother, I can tell you how very proud I am of my grandchildren and hoping to leave that legacy. But I know how proud she was of you, Eileen. She told me about you, and I just got to meet Eileen today, and it is my pleasure to introduce her granddaughter, whom she was so proud of, Eileen Mariano. Sorry, I'm the one else.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, and thank you to everybody for being here. I want to start by saying that this summit yesterday was just wonderful. It was so well attended, and the remarks were so powerful, and the weather is just perfect. And it just, it really warms my heart to continue to see California and Nevada and Team Tahoe come together to protect our beautiful lake. So thank you so much to Senator Schiff for hosting. As I was driving to South Lake yesterday from Tahoe City, I was coming around the bend heading towards Emerald Bay, and the sun was out and the water was blue and the lake was sparkling. It looked like it was a field of diamonds on that lake, the way it was shining. It was really breathtaking. And it reminded me of why we are all here and why my grandmother loved this lake so much. Now, we have all heard the story that my grandmother has about Lake Tahoe. I've heard it many times over the last couple days, but I'll repeat it once more. She used to say that she would visit the lake as a little girl, and that one time she even rode her bike all the way around the lake. So a couple years ago, before she passed away, I decided that I wanted to ride my bike around the lake too. So I set out with my husband and a couple of our friends on an all-day excursion around the lake. We started and ended here in Tahoe City, and we rode clockwise around the lake. And boy, is that a beautiful ride. I'm sure many people have done it here. It's really stunning. But when we finished the loop and we had a celebratory dinner, I called my grandmother and I said, Goggy, I used to call her Goggy. I said, Goggy, I'm up in Tahoe and I just rode my bike around the whole lake. And she responded by telling me, she said, she is always so happy whenever I spend time in Tahoe, and that it is one of her favorite places in the world. And she said about my ride around the lake, she said, well, I've already done that myself, and I did it on a bike with no brakes. She told so many people that story, and again, for anybody who has done that ride, there is no way that she rode her bike around the lake with no brakes. There are some major inclines and some major descents, but until the day that she died, she insisted that she did it. And so, maybe today is the day that I finally say that I believe her. Most of us here knew my grandmother really well and knew the things that she loved most in life. She loved public service, she loved her family, she loved her dog Kirby, and Kirby too. She loved San Francisco, and she loved Lake Tahoe. She really had an admiration for this lake. And she was determined to make sure it was protected, which is why, with Senator Reed, she started the Tahoe Summit. She really wanted future generations to be able to enjoy this lake just like she did as a little girl. So when I found out about the trail dedication today, I went through some of the old emails that my grandmother had sent me and pulled up a few about Tahoe. Her emails weren't long, they were straight and to the point, just like she was, and they usually would start in the subject line and then continue into the body of the email. But here are a few of the quotes from those emails. In one she said, I find the beauty of the lake and the trees just amazing. In another she said, we are in Tahoe. It is a beautiful day. Wish you were here. She was always encouraging her friends and families to come to the lake. Come to Tahoe, she said. You know the way. It's been too long. How about it? And then with about 8 different question marks. Another one when I was, I think in final exams as a college student, she said, how was your final? Need some news. I'm really glad you're coming to Tahoe. And don't worry, we'll get you back in time for your class. I have a parachute. We'll drop. So let me hear from you. I'm not sure what that meant. I guess I was supposed to parachute here. But, as you can tell, Tahoe was really her happy place. I really think other than San Francisco, it was her favorite place to be. I have so many memories spending time with her here. We would wake up early and go out on the deck while the lake was still in the mornings and have a cup of coffee together. And I still think of her whenever I see the lake. This trail would have meant the world to her. So I want to say thank you to everyone that helped make this possible. The Tahoe City Public Utility District, the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency, the Tahoe Fund, Lake Tahoe Basin Management Unit, and of course Senator Schiff for today's dedication. And lastly, I also also want to acknowledge all of the DF staff that are here today. She was certainly tough on her team, but you all were really parts of her family, and she really loved her team. And so I just wanted to say thank you from me and my family for being here today too. I can't wait to get on our bikes and ride this Dianne Feinstein trail. I know that my grandmother is up there somewhere smiling down on us, so thank you. Do you want to close it out, or do you want to go to the dedication?
Just title for dedication.
All right, I think it's time to reveal the trail dedication. Thank you.
Yeah, Senator will be.
All right, we're going.
But when I get